Let us continue with your government exam preparation series. This is SS1 Topic 8. We are discussing representative government. This topic appears in your exams every single year. By the end of this lesson, you will understand the meaning of representative government, the features of representative government, the conditions for representative government, the merits and demerits of representative government, the differences between direct and representative democracy, and how to answer exam questions. Take your notes. Let us go. First, what is representative government? Representative government is a system of government in which citizens elect representatives to make decisions on their behalf. The representatives meet in a parliament or congress. They debate the issues. They pass laws. They make budgets. The people do not vote directly on laws. Instead, they vote for people who will make laws for them. This is the most common form of democracy in the world today. Nigeria, the United States, the United Kingdom, and most other democracies use representative government. Representative government is also called indirect democracy or republican government. Representative government is based on the idea that it is not practical for all citizens to vote on every issue. In ancient Athens, direct democracy worked because the city was small. Only male citizens could participate. Women, slaves, and foreigners were excluded. The population was small enough that all citizens could gather in one place. Today, countries have millions of citizens. They cannot all gather in one place. They do not have the time to study every issue. Representative government solves this problem. Citizens elect representatives who have the time and expertise to study issues and make decisions. Now let me explain the features of representative government. These are the characteristics that make a government truly representative. The first feature is free and fair elections. Elections must be held at regular intervals. Voters must have a choice between different candidates and parties. The elections must be free from intimidation and fraud. Voters must be able to vote in secret. Their choice must be protected. The second feature is universal adult suffrage. All adult citizens have the right to vote. There is no discrimination based on race, religion, gender, or wealth. Every citizen's vote counts equally. The third feature is the existence of political parties. Political parties nominate candidates for election. They present policies to the voters. They mobilize support. In a representative government, voters choose between parties. The party that wins the most votes forms the government. The fourth feature is periodic elections. Elections cannot be postponed indefinitely. There must be a fixed term. After a certain number of years, the government must face the voters again. If the people are unhappy, they can vote the government out. The fifth feature is accountability. Elected officials must answer to the people. They must explain their decisions. They must justify how they spend public money. If they do a bad job, they will not be re-elected. The sixth feature is an independent judiciary. The courts must be free from control by the government. They must be able to resolve disputes about elections and the constitution. An independent judiciary protects the rights of citizens and ensures that the government follows the law. The seventh feature is a free press. The media must be free to report on the government. Citizens need accurate information to make good decisions at the ballot box. When the press is free, the government cannot hide its mistakes. The eighth feature is representation of interests. The representatives should reflect the diversity of the population. Different regions, ethnic groups, and social classes should have a voice in the legislature. Now let me explain the conditions for representative government to work. For representative government to succeed, several conditions must be present. The first condition is an educated electorate. Citizens need to understand the issues. They need to know what the candidates stand for. They need to be able to evaluate the performance of the government. Without education, voters can be easily manipulated. The second condition is a tolerant political culture. Citizens must accept that they will not always get what they want. They must accept the decisions of the majority. They must respect the rights of the minority. Without tolerance, democracy can become violent. The third condition is a strong civil society. There must be organizations between the individual and the state. Trade unions, religious groups, professional associations, and non-governmental organizations all help citizens organize and express their interests. A strong civil society prevents the government from becoming too powerful. The fourth condition is economic development. Wealthy countries are more likely to sustain democracy. When people have enough to eat, they can think about politics. When people are desperate, they may support authoritarian leaders who promise quick solutions. The fifth condition is the rule of law. No one is above the law. The government must follow its own rules. Citizens must have access to independent courts. Without the rule of law, elections are meaningless. Now let me explain the merits of representative government. These are the advantages. The first merit is practicality. Representative government is practical for large countries. Millions of people cannot gather in one place to vote on every issue. Representatives can study issues and make informed decisions. The second merit is efficiency. Lawmaking is a complex process. It takes time and expertise. Professional legislators can do a better job than ordinary citizens. They can hold hearings. They can consult experts. They can draft detailed laws. The third merit is accountability. In a representative government, voters can remove their representatives if they are unhappy. This gives representatives an incentive to perform well. The fourth merit is stability. Representative government provides a peaceful way to change leaders. Elections are held regularly. The loser accepts defeat. There is no need for coups or revolutions. The fifth merit is representation of diversity. Representatives come from different regions and backgrounds. They bring the concerns of their constituents to the legislature. This ensures that all groups have a voice. The sixth merit is protection of minority rights. In a representative system, the majority cannot simply trample the minority. The Constitution protects the rights of all citizens. The courts enforce these protections. Now, let me explain the demerits of representative government. These are the disadvantages. The first demerit is the possibility of poor representation. Representatives may not truly represent their constituents. They may vote for what is good for themselves, not what is good for the people. They may ignore the concerns of their constituents. The second demerit is the high cost. Elections are expensive. Candidates spend large amounts of money on campaigns. This can lead to corruption. Wealthy candidates have an advantage over poor candidates. The third demerit is the influence of money. Rich individuals and corporations can donate money to campaigns. They may expect favors in return. This can distort representation. The interests of the wealthy may be represented more than the interests of the poor. The fourth demerit is the problem of party loyalty. Representatives may feel pressure to vote with their party even when their constituents disagree. Party leaders control promotions and funding. Representatives who vote against the party may be punished. The fifth demerit is the possibility of instability. In some countries, governments change frequently. There may be no majority party. Coalitions form and collapse. This makes it difficult to govern. The sixth demerit is the risk of populism. Politicians may tell people what they want to hear, not what they need to hear. They may make promises they cannot keep. They may blame minorities for problems. This can lead to bad policies and social conflict. Now, let me compare direct democracy and representative democracy. Direct democracy is when all citizens vote directly on every issue. Representative democracy is when citizens elect representatives to make decisions. Direct democracy works only in small communities. It is impractical for large countries. Direct democracy requires citizens to have time and knowledge to study every issue. Most citizens do not have that time. Representative democracy is more practical. It allows for specialization and efficiency. Most modern democracies use representative democracy. However, some elements of direct democracy exist in many countries. Referendums are votes on specific issues. Initiatives allow citizens to propose laws. Recalls allow citizens to remove elected officials before their term ends. These are forms of direct democracy within a representative system. A common exam question asks you to define representative government and list its features. Here is a sample answer. Representative government is a system where citizens elect representatives to make decisions on their behalf. Its features include free and fair elections, universal adult suffrage, political parties, periodic elections, accountability, an independent judiciary, a free press, and representation of interests. These features ensure that the government truly represents the people. Another exam question asks you to explain the conditions for representative government to work. Here is your answer. The conditions include an educated electorate, a tolerant political culture, a strong civil society, economic development, and the rule of law. Without these conditions, representative government may not be stable. Educated voters make better choices. Tolerance prevents violence. Civil society limits government power. Economic development provides resources. The rule of law ensures accountability. Another exam question asks you to discuss the merits and demerits of representative government. Here is your answer. The merits include practicality for large countries, efficiency, accountability, stability, representation of diversity, and protection of minority rights. The demerits include the possibility of poor representation, high cost, influence of money, party loyalty pressures, instability, and the risk of populism. Despite its disadvantages, representative government is the most common form of democracy in the world today. Another exam question asks you to distinguish between direct democracy and representative democracy. Here is your answer. Direct democracy is when all citizens vote directly on every issue. It works only in small communities. Representative democracy is when citizens elect representatives to make decisions on their behalf. It works in large countries. Direct democracy is impractical for millions of people. Representative democracy allows for specialization and efficiency. Most modern democracies use representative democracy, though some elements of direct democracy like referendums exist. Here is what you need to take away. Representative government is a system where citizens elect representatives to make decisions. Its features include elections, universal suffrage, political parties, accountability, and a free press. Conditions for success include education, tolerance, civil society, development, and the rule of law. Merits include practicality, efficiency, accountability, and stability. Demerits include poor representation, high cost, money influence, and party loyalty. Representative democracy is the most common form of democracy. Practice these concepts. When you have them down, move to topic 9.